Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a family that had a big secret. The father, long ago, had done something wrong. He had taught his children to steal. They were good at it, sneaking into markets and taking things without anyone knowing. They weren't bad people, but they thought this was the only way to survive. The father was very strict, and he made sure his children never got caught. Every night, they brought home food, clothes, and everything else they needed. But deep inside, one of the children, a little girl named Grace, felt something wasn't right. She didn't like stealing. It made her heart heavy. One day, Grace was walking through the village when she saw a poor old woman sitting by the road, crying. The woman had no food, no money, and no family to help her. Grace's heart hurt for her. She wanted to help, but she didn't know how. That night, Grace prayed, "God, I don't want to steal anymore. I want to help people, but I don't know how. Please show me what to do." The next day, something amazing happened. When Grace and her brothers went out to steal, Grace said, "Let's do something different today. Let's give instead of taking." Her brothers were confused, but Grace smiled and handed a loaf of bread to a hungry child nearby. Then, they gave away the fruit they had taken to the old woman. Something strange began to happen. The more they gave, the lighter they felt. The people in the village were surprised too. They had no idea where the gifts were coming from, but they were grateful. Grace's brothers started to enjoy helping people too. Soon, the family stopped stealing altogether. They realized they could use the same skills they had for sneaking around to do good things instead of bad. They would gather food from the forest and secretly leave it for the poor. They would fix broken roofs in the night so no one would know who did it. One day, Grace's father found out what they had been doing. At first, he was angry. "We survived by taking. What will we eat now?" he shouted. But then, Grace spoke softly. "Papa, we don't need to steal. God will take care of us. We can help people instead of hurting them." Her father looked around the village and saw how happy the people were. Slowly, his heart softened. He realized that Grace was right. He had taught his children to steal out of fear, but now they were using their talents for something good. And it was making them happier than stealing ever did. From that day on, the family worked together to help their neighbors. And as they gave more, they received even more in return. The village loved them, and the family's hearts were full of joy. And Grace knew deep down that God had answered her prayer.